Go on and sit down, lady. All right, we starting. So, and if you want to sit out, oh, I gotta send y'all a link, or go to Gye-Nyame's journey now on Google Plus. All right. So we are about to start. We're gonna be led by Willie. Will, come up here in front of the screen, introduce yourself. Now you got a presence. So it ain't just a voice. So they can see you.
My name is Willie. I will be leading.
Go to that. Hey.
Everybody got the books open, chapter 26? Yep. Okay. I'm going to read the illustration first. Machine world illustration. Radio, television, and magazines are all machine manufactured. We have been mentally plugged into the machine, which controls our thought process. Whatever the matrix wants us to believe, it simply feeds into the system that we already plugged into, and we react. Our thoughts are not self-generated, but artificially generated. Chapter 26, Thug Life, to the life of a thug. Being that he was one of the most prolific figures of our time, we'll take a closer look at Tupac's vision of thug life and how it relates to the life of a thug. For all of these rappers claiming to live the thug life, there's really no difference, but that's where they're wrong. To assist me in making my point, I'll be using thug life with higher case letters to represent the higher self, one's Godhead. This is the side one used to uplift himself or walk upright, the side of positive thought and action. I'll use thug life with lowercase letters to represent the lower self, one's animalistic side. This is the side of one who acts grimy in nature and the side of negative thought and action. They both operate within the same space of one's existence, each fighting to destroy the other so that they may rule alone. It's the mystery of the Holy Cross. If you stand up straight and hold your arms out horizontally, you are the Holy Cross. Your horizontally spread arms divide your higher self from your lower self. It was the struggle Tupac was facing until the day he died, the battle between the thug in him and the thug in him. He started out as a thug from the gutter who fought until his last breath to live and elevate his people to the highest degree of thug life. Yet Tupac, like many of our sons, died on the cross, never truly reaching thug life paradise. When Tupac created Thug Life, which stands for the hate you gave little infant, F everybody, the message was clear. You reap what you sow. How could one expect these infants to grow up to be anything but thugs after all the hate that they have been given? But when that I don't give a fuck thug attitude started spreading like wildfire in suburbs, eating at the very fabric of American way of life, everybody got that. That hate has now given birth to a nation of killers, drug dealers, hustlers, and rappers, all coming in the name of a thug. I very seriously doubt this is what Tupac had in mind. Any words about the paragraph?
So I'm like kind of confused what defines a thug.
What's the what?
What defines a thug?
He did it in the lowercase in the capital. Was the higher self and lower self.
I know, but like, what defines a thug? The word thug itself, what basically classifies someone as a thug? How can someone be a thug? Lowercase when speaking, as opposed to higher case.
Sam, you're asking what defines a person as a thug?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I thought so too.
For your generation now, you want it for what?
For any generation.
No, it ain't because it's different for y'all. Because right now y'all got flicking wrists and wearing dresses like thuggish, painting fingernails and twerking type thug. That's totally new. So we on some different. A thug for us.
We do not endorse this client.
I'm just,
No, the whole generation. That's not.
Well, I mean, he got a whole lot. He got a whole lot of fans, dog. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm not one of his fans.
I don't know. I don't know what you listen to in private, my friend. I don't know. That's not my concern. I still love you. You understand? I still love you. You know, but like for us, when we was young, thug was a term that meant basically criminal. You understand what I'm saying? So when you call somebody a thug from my generation, it wasn't a badge of honor. Now when Tupac embraced it and did the what is it, the get done what?
The hate you gave little infants.
Or whatever he came up with, thug life. You know what I'm saying? When he came up with that, that was something totally, and I could dig that because he basically used coochie. Grasp it and went a whole totally another direction. How come you always come up to me when I'm talking? You have to wait.
When we redefine words for ourselves and create new words with our own definitions, or we go back to the original traditional African definitions, that's called being a neologian. Being neologian. To define how we express ourselves, what words we use. There's a word in ancient Tibetan language, it's called cacao. It means words of power. And so when Tupac defined it, he defined it on that premise that thug was about a word of power and action that was powerful for our people and positive.
So we're going some total different stuff than what is on now. Now we get up to the, I don't know. I don't know what's going up. I'm just totally lost. I mean, the whole lost. Start that way. All right. You know what I'm saying?
But that is something that you can research. I think Tupac held a number of press conferences talking about how he redefined the word thug. So you can take what Brother Black Dot put in the book, as well as researching what he meant when he was redefining the word thug.
Tupac has a film out called Tupac Resurrection. And he was interviewed, as a matter of fact, I think he was incarcerated at the time that he spoke about that, how he defined it. And how the young hip hop generation defines it. And he broke it down and he was just very righteous, which is totally different from
Where it went.
I mean, you even got the mayor of Baltimore calling the young brothers in Baltimore thugs, which was a negative and a lie.
Now, but the issue with that is, my question is, what are they calling themselves though? See, because we got a lot of people that's doing unrighteous behaviors and claiming that title. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like they're calling themselves though.
But in Baltimore, that's not the case. In Baltimore, they didn't even tell you how everything started. Like the young people were protesting peacefully, quietly, unarmed, and they melanated or pseudo-melanated or amelanated people came out of there, and they had their beer cans and beer bottles and bricks and rocks and calling the young people the N-word and were throwing these bricks, bottles, and rocks and cans at the young people, and the young people were like, hey, this ain't the 60s, and we ain't Martin Luther King, and they picked that stuff up and started throwing it back. Now, as long as these melanated people were throwing things at the young brothers, the cops stood there and watched. As soon as the young brothers and sisters picked them up and started throwing them back, then all of a sudden you got a riot.
This is Baltimore?
Yes, Baltimore. As a matter of fact,
Was this after the incident with the riots in Baltimore? Or during the incident?
This is, I'm telling you how the so-called riot began.
What was it about in the beginning?
In the beginning, the young people were protesting quietly. And but they were peaceful. But when the Europeans come out of the game all drunk and started harassing the young people and throwing things at them, the young people picked up the things the white folks threw at them and threw it back. Also, Umar Johnson speaks about it in a lecture he did in Georgia 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. He also talks about it. And one of the other points the young people brought up was, one, why did the cops attack us after they stood and watched the white people attack, and did nothing about it? Two, how do you, they said the young people said there were things that just didn't make sense, and you could tell was a lie. Like the cops were the ones that broke into the CVS, yes. And how come you see black people allegedly stealing from CVS when and you don't see who started the fire, but yet the young people are accused of it, but you don't see them. There's no footage. There's only footage of the things that they accused us, accused the young people of. But the young people are saying, hey, there's a marijuana store right next door to, the CVS. There's a Nike shoe store. Why would we go on CVS and steal stuff that ain't even nothing we would be interested in when there's these other stores if we really wanted to take something of some interest to us? And they were saying that, it was the cops that started all of that. Also, the other thing the young people pointed out was at the local school where the children were getting out of school, the cops allegedly got an anonymous call that the children were going to attack the mall. Well, that couldn't be true. One, because when the children got out of school, the police were already in riot gear. And they got on the bus and forced the children off the bus and then told the drivers to leave. So the children were stranded. They weren't rioting anywhere. And then they went after the children that were at the bus, where the bus turns around and picks the children up. It's right next door to the mall. Come to find out, the cops made those phone calls as well. So the young people are speaking up and they're fighting back, and they're defining the way Tupac said. We're just not hearing about it.
Well, now this is the issue for me. If they are defining it as the way Tupac is using it, then why get upset when other people use the same damn word?
Because they mean it in that derogatory.
But it don't matter if you define it. If you're using the word, and you promoting it for everybody to be able to use it, when other people use the word, what difference does it make whether they call you thug or not?
Okay, so that actually brings up another point. There's another word.
Nigga?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I knew that was coming.
Right.
That was inevitable.
I mean, but it's the same notion. I mean, because it's the same notion. Don't think that I'm gonna say it's cool for us to go around and say thug, and if other people say thug, they saying it. And that be the same way for nigga. We done took nigga and we done took this word and we done broadcast it all over the world. disrespectfully. Not only, I mean, disrespectfully using the word. The only thing we probably as a people own. I'm sorry.
So the reason.
Really, when you think about it, in America, one of the only things that we actually had total control over was that word. People lost their job. People that was hating each other together. You know what I'm saying? There's one thing that we actually had control over. We just started spreading.
It's kind of weird because like now I'm seeing white people just say the word.
Just say it's free now. I mean, because we done took the power. We done disrespected the word so much. What else are they supposed to say? Hell, they the #1 purchasers of hip hop. Name a hip hop album without the word nigga in it. But they, you know what I'm saying?
Don't count.
Coming your age.
Yeah, he might.
I mean, coming your age, or maybe close to my age.
What my mama's age on this podcast?
I don't know.
Coming been around for a while.
Well, go ahead, but go on, finish your statement.
The reason why I'm.
That wasn't him. I checked him. I got you.
The reason why I'm asking like this question, the reason why I'm asking this question is because like the actual word for nigger, by the way, I've started using this word profusely around people who I actually think fits this word so well.
Which one? Nigga or nigger?
Nigger.
Okay. N-A-G, with the E.
N-A-G.
Oh, with the, okay. All right, go ahead.
Mispronunciation is like you're an ignorant person. It only becomes synonymous because people have actually like been using it synonymously for people to like name us.
Right.
In all honesty, like I'm just like, all right, fine. I don't even have a problem with you like just saying nigger anymore. Because like you're gonna call me a nigger and you're like the nigger's nigger here. Obviously, I'm more smarter and you're an idiot. You're ignorant.
Listen, you hear some people go.
He's grammatically incorrect, but definitely intelligent and smarter.
You see, I mean, and there are ways to respond to it. I mean, like just like that. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, some people still feel uncomfortable with it. I'm glad that you have a certain level of comfortability with it, but I guess, you know, I'm kind of old school. It depends on the energy that comes with the word, with my response. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it's just like, you know, because I still believe that's my real estate. That's like you, when you say that word and you don't really belong, you know what I'm saying? You don't understand, you don't have the cultural context or the relationship with the word, you might get to slip it's kids and you might get slapped. You know what I'm saying? You know, because everybody can't say that word because that's my property. You understand? Wildly with the word, and that's cool. It's part of their real, you know, that's part of their real estate too. But when you come and use it with me, I need to be able to feel it. If I don't feel you, you're going to feel me. That's just my perspective. I mean, that's my perspective.
Okay. You said it's the energy that comes with the word.
Right.
Yeah, you asked the question, why get mad when another person said the word of meeting? One or paragraph?
Same.
Damn, y'all smart.
Same.
Dude, black boy. These black boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, oh my God. Oxymoron or a paradox. I started to think, is there a difference?
Tell him to spell it.
No.
Tell them to spell it. Spell the word?
Yep.
Spell the word.
P-A-R-A-D-O-N.
Paradox?
Oxymoron. O, X, Y, M, O, R, O, N. What?
Oh, okay.
But you know that in the computer ain't how to spell.
Oh.
So that's how you
No, you don't get them like that.
Yeah, you do.
Because that's the way they spell them when they text you. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I don't.
So for me, in that word, especially growing up and being the only black in the class, being raised in a proud African family.
I just realized I did that all Sunday too.
You gonna get beat down.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I see in having the ability to see lots of sides, I see that it's brilliant in one way to reinvent that word. It's defense mechanism. It's one of our best attributes, being under all this pressure and being able to still rise to the top. For those who were like my great grandmother, who would be walking home from school, see somebody hanging from a tree, and see white people jeering, saying nigger, nigger, nigger. And I think as an informed African, we need to be aware of all those situations. And there used to be some type of morality and respect, where if you seen an older, you would not say certain things in front of them. And now, because we've been so submersed in other people's culture and not knowing or respecting our own, we think that we can say and do anything. Right now, anything is okay, and everything is okay. And I have to question. That's one of our best attributes as African, is what happened to our morality. Is that okay? Are we being considerate of those who might have seen in their lifetime hangings and people yelling at people, calling them a nigger, and they were talking about them, nigger, nigger, nigger. You understand what I'm saying? So
I have a question.
No.
Can I ask one question?
Listen, we just went for like 20 minutes. And then like,
Right,
this first
I forgot you were even there. I forgot you were even there.
Okay.
Excellent.
Motion is the first law of the universe, and Tupac understood that everything must move or will die. So he began to ascend from negative to positive, from thug to thug, with visions of starting a whole thug life movement of lyrical thugs, political thugs, loyal thugs, and spiritual thugs. He was like the phoenix rising out of the ashes of the Black Panther Party, keeping the spirit of the movement alive, only disguised as thug life. This is when he became very dangerous. You can't kill the message, you can kill the revolutionary, but not the revolution. They knew that they could kill the thug, but the question was, could they kill the thug life? Or would Tupac becoming a martyr, magnifying his positive vision 1,000 times? The result, a well-calculated plan was put into place to kill the thug in his vision. Killing the thug himself was the easy part, but killing the thug life would not be as simple. An energy of a magnitude will require an extensive amount of time, power, and sophistication to eliminate. After Tupac was physically removed like clockwork, rappers from every coast started coming out of the woodwork claiming to be thugs. I'm a thug, yeah, I'm a thug. Yo, son, I'm a thug. That's all you hear when you turn on the radio these days or watch videos. Yet their words, ways, and actions show that they're vibrating in lower frequency of the word, all the while drawing energy from the higher frequency of the word, making it weaker and weaker. Some rappers even come in the name of Tupac only to defecate all his spirit with their negative use of the word thug. It's been many years since his death, and with the help of the media, the word thug has been reduced into the word thug, from positive to negative, from higher self to lower self. If I were a betting man, I would rise up a considered think that they are carrying on the tradition of Tupac by calling themselves thugs. They need to realize that they're actually doing him a disservice by their misuse of the word. Tupac is probably turning over in his grave every time the word thug is connected to his name. He lives on through the music, but it's through the music that his energy is being destroyed.
I'm gonna misuse my hands across their lips.
One thing needs to be understood is is the science of this thing. Science tells us that two opposing forces cannot occupy the same space at the same time. So if we got an issue with the THUG lowercase, then we have to take it back and be a stronger force of energy with THUG uppercase.
I have a question. You said like two things that are completely opposite, but no. Besides the point, then how does balance work itself if you need like both the positive and the negative to occupy the exact same space at the exact same time, such as the Gye-Nyame symbol?
But
They're not in the
they're
same
not
space.
in the same space. Yin is here, yang is here. They're beside. My eye has the scale, and they're balanced.
And the scales are on the things that go on the scales are on opposite sides.
Exactly.
They're never in the same space. Even with the yin yang. The yin yang is as a symbol, it's one symbol, but it's in two separate parts. The scale is one scale, but it's in two separate parts. And it needs both of those energies to exist. Like you can't have day and night at the exact same time. Impossible.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? When night comes, day is leaving.
Exactly. Well, I do actually like see that as true. I'm like trying to figure out how both the sun and the moon.
Now, if it's a solar eclipse,
They do
nah,
be
but
all
this
at the
is the issue.
same
But
time.
they still
If it's a-
not
when
in the
it's
same
a-
space.
If it's
Yeah,
a solar
not in the
eclipse,
same
it's
space.
still that.
It's not.
I mean, far as time, far as this clock, it might still be 4 o'clock, but what's going on in nature? When the solar eclipse hits, it's nighttime, dog.
And when the lunar eclipse hits.
Regardless, whatever's supposed to happen is happening. But you'll never have real day in the same space as real night. Saying?
I'm sorry.
There's a
Sam?
Nigerian proverb says, two big noses cannot kiss. Two big heads cannot drink from the same well at the same time.
That's y'all. That was a prophecy
What can we say
sent by the Nigerians about those two big heads sitting right over there.
about this prophecy? There's a prophecy about a man named Prophet.
What was the question? But now the issue with Doug is we got to decide on if we want to work. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, nigga for me is a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because it's a lot older. I don't.
What's our word? So is the word boy. It has two different meanings.
And girl.
And girl. It means someone who is helpful, yet it's a derogatory term.
It can be.
Used back in the day, almost just as old as the word nigga.
Boy might outdo, but how do you eliminate the word boy? Because Cleveland is a boy.
Those are boys, though. Well, actually, he's a young man.
When
a whole different
Oh,
boy.
hell with that. No, see.
Raising
No,
time
if
out,
you were
time
called a boy by a grown man, like you're a grown man
Right.
now, and somebody called you, that would
If somebody called me a boy,
disrespectful.
right.
Yes.
Why would it be disrespectful?
Because you're a grown man.
Because
I'm
well
not
now
a-
I could go out here and find a bunch of so-called grown men and call them boy, and I ain't feel bad about it because they're not doing grown man things. See, you on this young man shit, we are into some European. You know, this is something that they threw on us because you had manhood and womanhood was. I mean, with Shaka, you couldn't even claim manhood till you saw blood from your enemy. You know what I'm saying? So hey, you know, I mean, we got some strong traditions behind what a man is. What the separation of and it's I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Next paragraph.
Who's that one?
We'll say next
Go
paragraph.
ahead.
Alright. His vision of thug life and the powerful messages he dropped in his music made many people feel like two. Just think of what it took, and the rest will die. After a process of qualifying and disqualifying, we have been selected to be the one. That's it. We all have a thug deep within us, but it seems that it is so much easier to just be a thug, especially if you're watching hip hop videos or tuned into your favorite rap station. Tupac was human, so we had to deal with the same struggles that we face every day in terms of becoming the best that we can be. He was also born under the astrological sign of Gemini, which is symbolized by the twins. This dual personality enabled him to cross the line and reach thugs because he also spoke their language, and showed them how to become thugs today. You're frowned upon if you're not a thug. R. Kelly even professes to be the R&B thug, and if you listen to his music close enough, you can sense the struggle within him to defeat the thug in him and become a thug. He's consistently calling on God for help because he's weak. Unfortunately, it appears that the thug in him has prevailed. Ja Rule is another one who has tapped into Tupac's energy to make him stronger. He sampled Tupac's music and voice. He even called on Suge Knight, Suge Knight, and what appears to be some kind of sick ritual to drain every last drop of energy that might still exist by calling on Tupac. He then topped it off by calling up the radio station Hot 97, which is based out of New York, and that he was going to bring Tupac back. What did he mean by that? Then there was Nas, who reenacted the death of Tupac in a video by becoming him to spiritually align his energy with Tupac's. 50 Cent also has some of Tupac's energy. To keep his vision alive. I've often heard people speak of Dr. King in his dream, and if today he question to you, if Tupac were alive today, would he be happy with the thug life pattern? You think he's slick?
There's so many points in that.
No.
We'll start from the beginning. Which one you want to cover up the most?
I mean, there's so many key points as far as if you look at who Tupac really was. He was, to me, I'm gonna say a nation builder. So know that lower self aspect of who we are. If Tupac wouldn't have been happy with where it is today, he would have been really forming up the youth right about now with some of the stuff that's going on. He would have been on the front line.
He would have been
He
going on
real
today.
leading them too.
I think that
Leading them
was
since he was a guide already.
I think that was his point in that last part, in that last section that I read. I think that was his point in trying to explain that. He said Dr. King wouldn't be happy if he were alive today, so would Tupac be happy? Well, that answer is the question, so he didn't have to answer it. So that's kind of what
Tupac Shakur is actually the name of the last Indian king, which just happened to be one of the last
empires and pre-colonial, Middle America.
Mic on, yeah.
So maybe like that's kind of an analogy.
And the next thing is one of that. Plus Tupac comes from revolutionary energy. His mom is a Beanie Shakur. His godfather is Tulu Shakur. His other godfather is Zayd Malik Shakur. His godmother is Asada Shakur. I mean, he didn't have any choice. He had a foundation to start with. So no matter how much he may have strayed in his life, that's where he came back to. He came back to his actual roots. Yes, he has been really powerful roots. And still does, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, still here he wouldn't have it this way. I mean, I think he would have been this. A lot of people's careers. Tupac, he was still alive. A lot of people got this, and their careers being over before they started.
Kanye, Common, Nas.
Hope so.
Young Thug would already
Yeah,
come
Common
out.
when he got this.
I don't know.
Hell on Wheels.
I
Hell on
think,
Wheels, mom.
In the beginning. In the beginning.
I think it's important when he says that everyone is the one. So even though Tupac is not here, so in the flesh, his spirit is still here. And he kind of tossed it back to say, hey, you don't want, you don't want, you don't want, you don't want. And I think that's important not to get lost in the text.
And that's the issue of mathematics. Because
I
when
mean,
you're dealing with mathematics on a spiritual level, no matter how many numbers you add up, they all add up to one.
And right about now, Kendrick Lamar is really resurrecting Tupac's whole. I mean, for real, he's keeping it alive, keeping it going for the youth that maybe you get tuned out and you're on the wrong frequency, but he's bringing it back through his lyrics. Yeah.
But what about the ones that are in here? It's good to, yeah.
Okay.
What about us who've been studying
All this time
work?
talking about hey, Tupac was here. Man, you don't know what Tupac might be on crack. Yeah, that's what I mean. Really, I hate the fact that we always go back to this hero worship. And it's, you know what I'm saying?
And it's reincarnated as well. You know, so the comment about Tupac being here now is a very real concept. It's very real. I mean, why would he come back less than what he was when he left? He's gonna come back and be even better in the persona, in the physical persona of somebody else.
It's like that saying, you only live once, if you come back, what you do.
But Africans don't do it once. You know, we are the ancestors manifested in flesh. And the only reason we don't know that is because we keep what I call selective memory. We pretend like we don't remember the promises we made when we were in our mental parentheses, heaven, close parentheses, negotiating for a body because they're more spirits than they are physical bodies. So we forget the promises we made. We come here and instead of doing what we're supposed to do, we do what we want to do, which is not the fulfillment of the potential of what we should be doing in the first place.
But wouldn't you say some of that comes from the trauma? I mean, because everybody don't.
I don't deny that, but the trauma only happens to the physical and mental. It does not happen to the spiritual.
But I mean, because when you look in the situation that we're in, it kind of blanks out the spirit. I mean, I mean, think about this. Spiritually, a lot of us really believe that our spirituality is tied to myths. Especially myths that can't, how can I put it? We have totally confused reality to the point where we think that myths were real. And rather than debate the spiritual lesson that comes from the myth, we'll debate the historical fact of the myth. Like, for example, the Hebrews being slaves and building the pyramids. And wait, hold on, and crossing the Red Sea and walking 40 years through a desert. There's no proof. But say that to one, I mean, so in a sense, cyclically, we have been put in a position where not only through trauma, but even through our relationship with our myths, with our legends, with our fables, that we can't even remember. We can't remember promises. We can't remember who we are, let alone promises we made.
Elder Trump once told me, he said, because it was interesting to even have a conversation with him, but he said, do you know, and I was much younger then, do you know why he was correct, and he was one of them. He was a perfect example of his point. If that is true, then the trauma
But in his life.
no, we were talking about the trauma of our people who, as I say, selectively don't remember, you know, the promises they made when they were in heaven. And you said, well, isn't that some of, you know, as a result of some of the trauma? And I said, I don't deny that. I said, but I, looking at it to a point of view, I realize that our people are selected in what we remember and don't remember.
Let me call you back.
Like as spiritual beings, we're stronger than anything that happens physically. Because contrary to popular belief, spirit is primary and what is material is ancillary to that.
But you don't think that a person's belief would affect that?
And
I mean, because spirituality is based
why.
on belief. So
I tell you why.
Go ahead.
I'm a good example. I'm an excellent example of my point. When I was 13 years old, I did a prayer. I said, okay, I want to know who I am. I want y'all to tell me who I am. If I'm supposed to be this Christian and believe in Jesus and all that, then I want y'all to tell me, you know, tell me that. Tell me who I am. And I didn't know nothing about ancestors at that time. I didn't know nothing about nothing. You know, I was a typical little, you know, young preteen little sister growing up in North Philly. And the ancestors responded to me by introducing me to different Africans who were able to give me some insight into who I am, physical being, I'm a Kante, and who I am as a spiritual being. Because the prayer I put up, this elder in Gambia, in Green Karma Congo in the Gambia, heard the prayer because his ancestors and my ancestors are the same. So he comes over here to the States. That's how. Oh, this man's here is here in response to a prayer I put up because I wanted to know who I am. Like you said, it's the trauma. We don't know, but we can ask.
See, but now,
I asked.
But the issue is,
I wanted to know.
But the
sometimes you don't even have to ask, and you're still gonna be told, like the elder who was an alcoholic said.
Some of us, but the majority of us don't even have enough sense to ask. As a matter of fact, I'm comfortable believing in Jesus. As a matter of fact, Jesus is working for me well every day. At least I think so. You know what I'm saying? Or Allah. Go ahead.
Oh, all right, but whose fault is that? Whose fault is it that we don't have enough sense to ask?
Now the issue, I'm not looking for blame. What I'm looking for is the fact of the matter. You know what I'm saying? Because if I don't want to know, right? If I don't want to uphold that, right? It don't matter whether it's my fault or not. The fact is, I'm being so traumatized that I'm running from that. As a matter of fact, I don't watch so many movies as far as ghosts and spirits from the other world. I don't want to have nothing to do with ghosts and spirits of the other world because that's part of the plan, right?
Well, there are people like me who are speaking up. I mean, it's our responsibility. If she sees something and I don't see it, and she don't say nothing to it, I'm standing on the edge, about to fall over on the cliff. She see it, I don't see it. She don't say nothing, that's her responsibility. She saw it, she's therefore responsible. You know, that's why they say that knowledge is overrated.
But she can't stop you from taking the steps.
But it's not her job to make me conscious.
Right. But
It's her job to make me aware of my unconsciousness so I can make myself conscious.
Right. But now, a majority of our people.
That's how we do it. That's how we answer the question you asked.
But a majority of our people, when you point it out to them, they don't even see it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you stand, brother, you standing on the edge of the cliff.
We're farmers. It's not our job to make them see it. All right, again, she's a farmer. I'm the soil. Okay? She a farmer. She plants the seed in me. She's not gonna stand there and watch me grow and sprout and here I am. She's not gonna do that. And it may take unbelievable amount of time for her job is to come back, water me, give me some compost. That's her job, and go about her business. That's the way our people are. We the farmers, the ones who are aware are the farmers. Our people is the soil, and we plant the seed in this rich soil, and they'll you see them. They start.
Some of them.
They start.
There are a lot of us.
There are tons who are denial, afraid, fears of spiritual vampires.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Honest, serious question. Like that was first up by this this entire subject right here. What has changed and how exactly do we respond to it? Like when I ask how do we respond to it? Is it out of fear or is it out of curiosity? When it comes to change.
Respond to change?
Yes.
How do you respond to change?
Any type of change.
What happens if you respond to anything?
Spiritual vampires have all these delusions.
Fear God can't help people at the same time. There you go.
The reason why I'm asking this specific question right here is because I've noticed that while studying history, there's been a lot of significant changes over the years concerning our people. But the thing about it is it's not changes that we made for ourselves, it's changes that was made by other people. The reason why I'm also bringing this up right now is as we're talking about something as specific as religion. I mean, I just that relate. I heard you mention Jesus, beliefs.
Say nothing bad about Jesus. Now you do. It's
okay. I'm gonna go on again.
I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm an agnostic person. I don't really believe it, but I do believe that there's a God. I believe that there's a God. I just don't really believe in the way that religion's kind of just fundamentally based because of how it's believed.
It's like they put God in the box.
Yeah. Why put someone
This is what
really not who's this boy's mom, who's this boy's dad, who is teaching this boy this stuff? I'm just willing to ask the questions that most people seem to be afraid to ask. And I know that you're not really afraid to ask it, but it's my real basic question, and my point I was really trying to get to now formulating is are we really afraid to ask the question, or are we afraid to know the answer?
I think we're afraid to know the answer.
Right, and the answer is gonna require you to do something about it. That's what I think people are scared of. Real. It's gonna require you to change.
I think more along the line. I think we scared of that. But
It's all of that.
we know. I mean, because so much stuff going on around us that we don't ask questions about.
Because if you
know what I'm saying? We don't ask.
questions. Look at the public school. You're taught what to think, not how to think.
Exactly.
How to think
So we've been
requires
trained-
asking questions.
Right. We've been trained not to ask questions. That's my point. So I think we're more fearful of asking the question.
The
You know what I'm
biggest,
saying? I'm just saying. That's just me. I mean, your actual opinion.
the biggest contradiction in my school. First off, I asked my teacher to ask me questions. She said I'm not going to be teaching again. And then she turned around. She said, any questions? You know, we're afraid to ask the question because we don't know how she.
So you learned the lesson.
That's why I didn't put
You got it. My grandson brilliant when you caught on quick.
I didn't put none of my children in public school for that very reason. I mean, I co-founded 5 independent African-centered schools so that I wouldn't have to subject them, you know, to this crazy Eurocentric psychotic curriculum. I couldn't see myself doing it. This is exactly why.
But that also continues also in the workforce. They'll tell you that you have a meeting, you're supposed to voice your concern and say what you want to change. And then being trained, nobody says anything because they're scared. They're afraid to ask.
So then, my next real question.
And then also, let me say this. We are taught even not to question because it's almost like we don't even question what we believe in. We're taught not to even question the very basic beliefs that set up our lives.
I'm agnostic because I question the beliefs that I believed in.
No, you agnostic because you a heathen. But no, just joking.
Although,
But no,
again,
but I mean,
like,
what really
defines
is
a
you
heathen.
free. I mean, you one, you showing the first attribute of a true warrior. Well, you got to ask questions. If you're on the battlefield and you don't ask questions, you're going to die.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? Most people don't even realize that we're on the battlefield. That's going back to the point that I was saying. Most people don't even know to ask questions. Most people don't even know to ask, to even try to communicate with the spirit because they're scared of it. We're scared of spirit. And then on top of this, if I ask the questions you asking about religion, what does that leave me with?
In another
Lead. I mean, look at how that word is spelled. B-E. Lie. L-I-E. And when you look at our history, you see we never had belief or faith. We had knowledge of the Most High. We had knowledge of the Spirit. But we didn't need belief. What do you need belief and faith for? If you know, if you know and have a relationship with the Most High.
And that's
the Most High
spirituality.
divine.
That's true.
Glad you mentioned that because how am I a heathen if I already am a God body?
Are you?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Personally, to me, it's like anybody can be a God body. But for someone to like really reach the potential in a God in the body, therefore the reason why it's called a God body as opposed to like just God, you would actually have to like really have that knowledge. Like you have to have that insight, that too. You have to be willing to step out of the box. It's called God body because although it's only a body, the body is the box. So my real question would be like, am I myself able to step outside of my body and look at myself from within? Can I look at you, looking at me, looking at you? Can I look at you, looking at Miss Shamika, looking at me, looking at you?
That sounds kind of freaky.
It sounds freaky.
It sounds complicated.
It sounds freaky, but I promise.
I love this sport, man. But go ahead, man.
Don't you love it?
Promise.
Don't you love it?
All right,
Get a la-la.
let me simplify this in a mirror. If I'm looking at myself in the mirror, I'm looking at myself from the outside, and I'm actually like kind of curious on like how other people see it. What is their perception of me? I mean, I know how I see me. Obviously, I'm me. But how do you see me? How does Miss Shamika see me? How does my mom see me? How does Mama Connie see me? How
We hate you too.
you know who he is, see me. My point is, like, how can I actually, like, basically go into the battlefield only thinking about myself and, like, only, like, really aware of myself, and I'm not really aware of anybody else? Because I know exactly who I am. I know my history. I know exactly what the background is to me. But I've always found that knowing the background to other people, especially if they're your enemy, can automatically cause a great victory. Because if I know about you, but you don't know about you. You're closed off from you. You really don't know who you are. But I know exactly who I am and who you are. I have the advantage.
But Prophet,
You're done.
Prophet, all right. This is a philosophy that I know that you. Okay, you got knowledge, right?
Your philosophy that came.
I don't know. I don't know you.
Don't get distracted.
But anyway, all right. So you got knowledge. What do you do with it? It's only a road. The knowledge is only a road that leads to victory. It takes action as well.
And that's what I was gonna say about God body. God body is one that activates the God principle. Not just knows that it's there. It has to be activated. But God body can create heaven or hell.
The real fun part is that you actually say that. You two
You got to action.
I promise I'll say it, all right?
Where we at? We finished chapter. Let's go change the daughter. Good. We did?
Yeah.
No, we had a good conversation. Any questions, comments? You want to cover something? Baby? You do? Hey, Deshaun, I need your help.
You right here.
Where you at?
You right there.
He ain't that right.
Excellent discussion, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm a serious
All right, what I'm gonna do, Sean, can you bring the board up for me? All right, so while we waiting, any comments or questions about the discussion or about the chapter we read? Because we kind of got out the chapter, but then again, we was really in the chapter.
He wrote that book like that. Give thanks.
Big up like that. To take it all, right, to cover a whole lot of space, because we got a whole lot of space issues. Our issues are not that narrow.
And it went into, the one. We started with like going through the sperm and all those other ones dying, but you made it here. That's deep. That's really real. You got here and then you got relaxed.
And I love the part about words, because that's just so significant, especially when you deal with a cow, and then you compare these other low.
Are you one that?
Did we do that already? Did we do it?
And some of it is as simple as us elevating the energy of how we express ourselves. How you combat some of that negative energy by replacing positives.
Was it something else?
And people hear you expressing yourself.
Half money too. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the text I got.
What's going on with your sister?
My sister.
Oh,
yeah. Nah, they did get
That's
that.
fine.
It's all my phone right
How much? How many questions?
That's the fourth. And that's what I wanted to say. You kept asking me how many kids I got. I thought you were just asking me how many kids I got. Not for the program, because that's what you were trying to ask me, how many kids I got, like for the program, right? Yeah. No, that's four is my nephews and my niece.
3 nephews and 1 niece.
I don't know.
What?
Still ain't come up.
Nah, you know this thing is slow. You gotta start this at the beginning.
That's fine. It's not that serious anyway.
You need more paper than that?
As long as everybody has to keep for our
Okay, I'm fine. Got to talk to you.
Okay, well then when I go over my lesson, then you get your It's a blank piece of paper.
I just want you to explain to me.
Okay.
Mom. You heard about the NCT?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Nothing.
Thank you.
I don't have no comment. What's the problem? You see what I'm saying? What's the problem?
The problem is you lied about her research.
So what does it say that a one person didn't work there?
Nobody
You
else
see what I'm
can say
saying?
who she is.
I said,
They just want attention. That was
What do you say?
like, it's just, I don't have,
do you think about
say,
It's a distraction.
yeah.
What's going on in the world that we really should be paying attention to?
it is a distraction, but I do think it's hilarious, and I do think if she really does understand and know history, then she wouldn't want to be a part of her race. I get her. She
She wouldn't have had that job for as long as she had it.
Right, and then my thing is,
I think it's hilarious.
yeah, what type of work does she produce? I mean, that's what I really want to know. I mean, not the fact that, you know, like I said, but that's it's a distraction to get people, just throw people off. So I don't think
How about Bill Gates and his wife just sent over to East Africa all these vaccinations, right? Measles, mumps, chicken pox, rubella, and in the vaccines are the AIDS virus. How about that? Now that's real news.
Where's it at?
I just said, East Africa,
Guess what?
Kenya,
The guy just came
Tanzania.
with a medicine that can cure HIV AIDS in 2 months.
Say it again.
There's a guy in Africa that came up with a cure to HIV and AIDS in 2 months.
All right, it's moving slow. Did you start already?
No, I haven't started yet.
All right, hey, can I have everybody's attention? We're about to get into Vedic math. Let me get the boys in here.
Okay, I'm not gonna be using the board. It's moving slow, but I gave everybody some paper. If you don't have paper, let me know.
Don't come to us.
Who
Where?
needs paper? Because I didn't bring me. Wait, you got paper? Okay, there we go.
Stop.
Yes, he is. God. He is in the house.
Come on, Carla, come take a picture. What I'm starting, oh, well, I'm waiting for some more people to come in. What I'm gonna be starting with is multiplying by 10. What's significant about multiplying by 10?
The number with 0 at the end.
It's the number with the 0 at the end.
Hand off our heads.
You understand, like, you put his hands, Papa was trying to convert us.
Okay, the circle.
I don't want to be a Christian. I don't want to be a Christian.
Working? All right. So everybody need paper?
It almost worked.
I don't want to be a Christian again.
It almost worked.
Pray for you, boy.
No.
I'm gonna change your life. She stepped out for a second.
That's right.
We never TikTok.
Prophet,
No,
have I ever been better than you?
no.
No?
No, wait.
No,
Was that
touch
one?
it.
Yeah, just now.
What'd you do?
No.
All right, let's get everybody focused. We're about to get into this Vedic math. I don't know where we're going with it today, but it's gonna be useful.
Prophet, take it first.
Okay, what we discussed in the past was the doubling and the halving, right? Can anybody recap what the doubling and the halving is?
No.
Profit.
Multiplication as well as division.
What's doubling again?
Doubling was multiplication.
Okay. Doubling and halving. What does it mean to double? Some double means times 2 or add twice, right? And the halving. What is halving? Carla. It's what? splitting it in half or dividing it by 2. So what I continue to learn is we can go ahead and use that to our advantage when we're getting to bigger numbers, like such as multiplying. When we multiply by the number 10, we talked about what's significant about multiplying by 10, which Willie said, Willie said, what is significant about multiplying by the number 10, Willie?
I said add 0.
Add 0 to the number and the 0.
It's always going to be the number and the 0. So 44 times 10 is 44, and then a 0 on the end, right?
44 10.
44 10 is 440, right?
Right.
So if we look at 50 times 10, what is that?
500.
50 with the 0 on the end, right?
50 10.
What I learned recently is if we could take something such as multiplying big numbers by 5, say we multiply the number,
Oh, that.
What?
It's a race.
The way she got the race, it ain't supposed to work like that.
okay, say if we take the number 54 times 5, that looks a little bit difficult, right? A little bit difficult, right?
Not really.
Not really. Okay, so what is it? 4 or 5 to 20. But no, let's look at something else. If we take and multiply this number right here by 10, what do we get?
540.
540. If we take what we learned and we have that 540, how are we going to have it, Willie? Because I hear you keep talking. How are we going to have 540?
How we gonna have 540? Oh, half?
Half.
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2.
270. Not 270.
So,
27.
remember when we're halving, if we separate the numbers,
It makes it
half,
easier.
to make it easier, we have 500, we have 40, half of 500,
25.
250, and half of 40,
20.
20. We add those together, we have
270.
270. Right? So our answer for 54 times 5 is 270. Now, let me go back because that threw y'all off a little bit. That threw y'all off a little bit. If we have the number, if we're multiplying by 5, 5 is half of 10, right?
Oh, okay.
So we multiply that number by 10 and then half it. That is our number multiplied by 5. Any questions? Okay, let's try it now.
Uh-oh. See, they should have asked questions. See what happens when you don't ask questions? Now y'all got to do it.
Actually, I missed the question because he was making something about calculators. I didn't calculate is the life, man.
Yeah, until the batteries run out.
See, sometimes you ain't gonna be having time to be multiplying by 10 and then dividing by 2.
You cheat.
My kid's problem is when the internet ain't quite working. Like a Wi-Fi connection. They ain't worried about calculating.
Mathematics can be a spiritual exercise. Teach you discipline, teach you focus, teach you about process. Something that you can use to develop yourself.
Okay, so now, let's take another number.
Uh-oh.
Let's take 75 times 5. What's the first thing that we're going to do? 75 times 10, which is 750. After we multiply 75 times 10, we get 700. What do we do next, Carla?
I got the answer.
Right.
I got the answer. Oh, you Asian? Oh, I'm an Asian now.
We're going to
walk through the steps.
take it. We're going to break up the 750. 700 plus 50. Then we have the 700. What's half of 700? 350 plus 25.
375.
75 times 5 is 375.
I'm coming, that's smacking.
Any questions? Any questions, Triana? Need to say something?
Lord, what is that? Oh, wow. Hold on.
I was trying to. That's what brought it up. Was the eraser?
Because I finished it in 2 blank seconds.
This shit poor.
Why are you doing that?
Has a mind of its own.
Or not?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, it's a string. It's like an invisible string.
Okay, so so let's look at.
What about numbers that already have a zero?
Already have what?
A zero.
Like
Like 750 times
750 times 5?
Let's do that. Let's write it. 750 times 5. 750 times 5.
3,000.
So when we multiply 750 by 10, what do we get?
7,500.
7,500. When we break up 7,500, how do we break it up?
7,000
7,000 plus
plus 500.
500. Half of 7,000,
3,500.
half of 500.
250.
So 3,500 plus 250 is
3,750.
3,750. It works the same way.
Is it?
Yes.
Same principle. Just add a zero.
Teacher, call a teacher. Ain't gonna work. Gone. Oh, he done broke the board.
Okay, so let's look at something such as 75 times 50.
75 times 50.
75 times 50.
That's 5 tens. That's just 5
Right.
tens.
Doing it like this. Go ahead. What is it?
Add
It's
a
just,
five
it's just
instead of subtracting.
I didn't say I knew it. I just said it was 5 tens. I'm making observations. I didn't say I was going to answer.
Shut up.
And smacking them.
You said, no, you said 750. Now you know it's easy.
You just put a zero at the end. It's that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you do it like, now, and remember this. Let me say this. There is not necessarily one way to do this because Vedic math is like capoeira. Once you start getting the basics, it is yours. The method after she gets done describing how she gonna teach. You understand what I'm saying? Because what it is learning how to use your mind in the best way for you. All right. So that's all she's trying to introduce y'all to. So actually, we should be doing 70 times 50 in our head without any problem.
What is that? What is it called when you see things backwards? I forget.
Dyslexic.
Yes, yes.
I can do it.
And that's what helps make this understandable. For a person that's dyslexic, we see it as, drop the zero, add the zero. If it's a 5 involved, you move it to a 10. It just makes sense like that.
Vedic math is based on how the mind works. Because math, they teach us to do math from the right to the left. But everything else we do in society is from the left to the right. We read, from the left to the right. You know what I'm saying? Everything else we do from the left to the right.
Except if you're dyslexic.
If you're dyslexic, you do it backwards. So when you're looking at the number system, the way the number system is designed, you're supposed to start from the left and work towards the right. So a dyslexic person will actually see the number in the way that they need to see it. You see the most important numbers first. You know what I'm saying? But it's part of the training, you know, see the small things.
But that's good, because any one of these babies might be. And
That's
so it
right.
helps them understand
Right.
right from the beginning, instead
Right.
of excluding them
Right.
and locking them into thinking that it's only one way they can do it. It's a good point that you make.
Quick, girl.
No, I ain't quick. Okay, so now if we looked at the 5 and we multiplied it by 10, now we have 50. What are we gonna multiply it by? What are we gonna use? What's so significant about the 50? Half of 100. So in this case, for 75 times 75 times 50. 50 is half of 100. So we're going to multiply 75 by 100. And we multiply 75 by 100, we get what?
7,500.
7,500. When we break it apart, we have
750
7,000 plus the 500. And when we have that, we get 3,500 plus 250. So 75 times 50 is 3,750.
I got it. Like, I was saying. I'm sorry.
All right, now I got one for y'all.
Thank you. I felt blind.
Hey, hold on. You ain't done yet, Tracy. I got a question for you.
Okay.
All right. So
He had a comment before I even started. Go ahead.
I wanted to show y'all how I did this real fast.
Okay.
All right.
You got it wrong.
That's right. I got it wrong. I gotta get it wrong.
man, you real good. Y'all good.
Will you stop letting him distract you so easily?
Come on now, you gotta do it that much, man.
You get the point 5 times.
No, we don't. My God, boy, what is you doing?
Okay. Basically, I just did 700. I did 75 times 10 is 5 times, right?
Okay.
750 plus 750 plus 750 plus 750 plus 750, and then.
Are you comfortable doing it like that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I mean, as long as it work for you, hey.
Willie, did you
Because I'm
have
not
a
doing all
comment?
that. That's a whole lot of shit.
The 5 thing.
All right, you ready?
Willie has.
Oh, you got one?
Oh,
You about to show how you did it?
Yeah, I just did
All
like
right, I gotta stop those from popping up. What's that?
Read this story.
75 things. No, we did this 75 times 5, and that was 375, right?
Yeah, you said your zero.
And then you got the 0 right here, so you just add the 0. That's all you do. And quick,
This one is on.
Now I got a question for Tracy. All right. You ready? You ready? Let's do 75 times 25. Oh! Oh!
What?
75 times
75 by
25.
25.
Because y'all been paying attention, she already showed us how to do this. But nobody been paying attention. See, because y'all just think we talking about 10s and 5s. But we on some other stuff right now, right? So go on. 75 times 25 in your head. Let's go.
That's 375. 365. So
How can you do it?
20, you gotta do 20, like, I don't know.
Oh.
75 times 5 is 375, and you got the 20. So you gotta do something with the 20. 20 is a fifth of 100. So you gonna,
Wait, 20
So what else?
20 is a fifth of 100. No, he said 20.
Okay.
He got rid of the 5.
Yeah.
Why not just keep the 5 and
20
go
is
to
a
a
fifth.
4?
So you're gonna divide 75 times 10. You're gonna do the
Why don't we do this? Because Willie is on to something.
125 is the fourth of 100. So you can
Willie is on to something. Okay, so what we have is 25. 25 is how many? 25 is a quarter. Remember we talked about this before.
Right.
How many quarters are in a dollar?
4.
4 quarters in a dollar. So if we multiply this 75 by 10, which we've been doing, we get 750.
Right.
this today.
If we take the 750 and we break it down to 700 plus 50. Am I doing this right?
You gotta remember, Miss Tracy, come on, you were doing Miss Tracy.
Hold on, what?
Wait, hold on.
Hold on.
Now hold on. Now,
Because you got to have it twice.
no, but hold on. You gotta have it twice. So first you multiply 75 by what?
Fine.
By 100.
Okay.
Then you half it how many times?
Okay. Wrong number. 700. Okay. We're using 100, so we multiplying it by 100.
Y'all don't get it?
I get it now.
We're using 100. 25 is 1/4 of 100, so we're going to multiply our number by 100.
But we're going to something.
7,500.
The first time, right?
If we break that down,
These are like
half of 7,000
It's 3,500.
is 3,500. Half of 500
It's 250.
is 250.
vegan.
However, we got to half it again because when we got half of 100 is, what's half of 100? 50. 50. What's half of 50? 25. So that's what we're getting to. So when we half it again, we have the 3,000 plus 500. Half of 3,000?
1,500.
1,500. Half of 500.
250.
You want a couple here.
Half of, 200 plus 50. Half of 200.
Okay.
Half of 250.
You're not gonna feel that, but that's.
Now, if you would have put it together sooner and did 3,750, then you would have just broke down 3,000. Well, basically that's what you did. But you got to, because it got confusion at the end because
When I did the double,
right,
when I kept it, I should have just kept it all at 3,750 and broke that down.
right.
So the 75 times 25 is 1,875.
Hey, where's my mom?
Out here on the phone.
And that's the I got something that's so separate from the doubling and halving that was very interesting to me that I learned. My son, he showed me a little trick with the fingers for the multiplying by 9. Ding, how did you do that? Show me how you did it. Just show me just 2 times 9. How you do that? Put the second figure down. Okay, so you gotta hold up 9 fingers. Hold up 10 fingers. Hold up 10 fingers, and then the second finger, right?
There's a 10.
And then 8 on this side, 18, so.
Okay, so I thought that was really interesting. But when I looked at it on paper, and and they had the 9s, they had 9 times 1, 9 times 2.
What I found interesting is that in one direction the numbers are going up, and the other direction the numbers are going down.
Right.
That's how I learned.
Remember with 9s, the answer is going to equal 9, right? Y'all remember that? You
Right.
know that? Okay.
9 is the most conceited number.
9 is the most conceited number because it's all about itself. Okay, so 9 times 1 is
9.
9. 9 times 2?
18.
9 times 3?
30. Oh,
27.
27. Man.
27. You put 24.
It's okay. It's still 27. Y'all confusing me. 36. Help me out, y'all.
45,
54,
54,
63,
63, 72,
81,
90. That's the only one I learned.
And what we see is the numbers go up. When we go down, they go up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then back up. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right?
Right.
I thought when I learned that, I thought that was cool too. But then what I learned just recently is that every number in the tens place is going to be one number less than the number it's being multiplied by. So let's look at 9 times 4. The first number is going to be 1 less than 4, which is 3, right?
Right.
But the answer is going to equal. The answer is going to be equal 9. Then let's look at 9 times 7. The first answer in the tens place is going to be 1 less than the 7. What's 1 less than 7?
6.
6. So 9 take away 6 is what?
3.
3. So that's going to give us the answers in the ones place. Any questions about that?
So what about 9? What about 11 through 20?
You tell me. Does it work? If you multiply by, if you did it, does it work?
Rules still apply.
9 times 11.
99. Exactly.
So the first one is gonna start out with 10, right? Is it? Is it gonna work? Because what I told you was that it's gonna be 1 less. So is it gonna work?
Rule applies.
The answer is 99. So no.
All y'all told me yes, my knew was no.
Okay.
Go my first.
All right, thank you. This concludes today's lesson, prophetic math. I'll see y'all again in 2 weeks.
All right.
Can I get some one-on-one training, please?
Oh, we do have. Were you able to get on the Were you able to get on the site?
Well,
We do have a site. Huh?
I couldn't get on. I couldn't. You told me to go search. I couldn't find it. That's why I
I'm
brought.
talking about the course for the lady.
move
I
up.
did that, but I'm talking about when you had.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I mean.
All
I
right.
did that.
So here we go. I'm gonna make it quick. We had homework. Anybody remember what the homework was?
Read the packet.
What was on it? Yeah, it was the packet. But what was the packet?
Introduction to training. Stuff about warriors. Warrior training.
Math.
Right, I was just pouring them.
Anybody remember the homework?
All from
No,
now.
no.
Yeah, we messed up the whole thing.
Wait a minute, it was,
The whole family.
I got my homework from,
You got your homework?
I think you gave us too many homework.
I gave you too many homework.
Yeah, I got the story homework, my story homework.
Right?
So I got that one, but then you gave.
I gave you 2 homeworks? All right, so now if I remember correctly, I gave everybody the homework because you was supposed to write out your story, were you not?
yeah.
You want the base now?
All right.
If you want one, you can have
All right, so
it.
I asked y'all to write out the most important story that you ever ran across, which was what?
Our story.
Our story, your own story.
But y'all was too busy to write the most important story in the world.
I wrote the story.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
All right, so now I gave everybody a worksheet. See now, because the reason I want to start with your story is because when we start looking at myths, regardless of the myths that come up out this room or any other myth, I want you to start looking at them in a certain way. I want you to start putting yourself in the story. Because now, for example, my son loved Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever. He loves comic book stuff. What I want to happen is that when he's watching, I want him to be able to apply the lessons to his life. That's what myth is about. That's what legends are about. That's what folklore is all about. It's not about being in a correct place in time in history. It's about being able to get the wisdom. Every last one of the stories follow a certain arc. And what we're going to talk about today is the arc that, well, maybe not today. We're going to talk about the arc that the stories follow. So, I got on here how to use myths, legends, stories, and self-mastery. This might have to drop on me. I know y'all grew. So I'm gonna run through. We already ran through the part where y'all got the story building think sheet, where you write out your story. It don't have to be the whole story, a section of the story. How your story is now. And I want you to be honest with yourself with the direction that you're going in, what is most likely going to be the end. See, because most people lie to themselves about that. Like, for example, if you're telling a story about yourself sitting around chilling all the time, please do not lie to me and say that you are going to be going to Harvard or playing professional basketball. See, many of us, we don't want to follow our stories to the end. Because if you keep on doing what you're doing, there is an end, and you are able to see that end. And that's the only thing I want y'all to be able to do. On part two, I wanted you to go through and tell your story the way you wanted to. And go ahead.
Can you repeat what you just said? That was so important.
You know I can't repeat. I be on autopilot. Y'all got to go and rewind the tape. I don't know what the hell I said. I be on autopilot, man.
That was so important.
But listen, so with the think sheet, I want you to take time and work on your story. Now, we won't do it right now. What we're going to do is we're going to go through one of the stories. All right, now let me read this. This worksheet lays the foundation for you to look at the stories that will be presented to you during your lifetime in the tribe. Use it to help you extract the wisdom in the story that is there for you. It's important to remember that good stories, myths, legends are layered. What I mean by this is that stories have many interpretations and multiple lessons for the reader, but we can only pick up the lessons we are ready for. That is why they call them mysteries. See, when you know, has anybody ever heard of the mystery system? You got mystery systems, right? But what's crazy about the mystery systems, when you go to societies where mystery systems exist, they will be telling this different perspective, and you're able to look at the story in a whole new way. You become symbol literate, which we all got to become, because one of the things that our oppressor used against us is the symbols. All right? All right, so let me finish. That is why it's good to review stories periodically, so that you may learn something new, as well as gauge your own growth. The first story that should be looked at is the most important story. The idea of the most important story came about when I was having training session with some youth. They helped me, and now I will pass this knowledge to you. They identified their own life story as the most important story. Now I shared that with you. Your life story should be the first one that you analyze. Take some time and develop a timeline for your life and fill in the story. The next set of worksheets will help you look at your own story. So y'all got that? Let's move on. So now, for those that didn't finish that, I'm passing out some more sheets. These sheets costing me money. Please don't waste my money. All right? Take the sheets home. Give me a damn timeline. No, better yet, give yourself a timeline. Explore your life. There's nothing more important. Nothing more important on TV, video games, on the internet. There's nothing more important than you identifying your story and where you are with it. All right, that's why I tell y'all got to become authors, because most of y'all are not authors. Right now, y'all living somebody else's, y'all living a life that's been given to you, and right now you're going along somebody else's storyline. They set up your plot. When you don't take time to analyze your story, you end up living somebody else's. So if we're going to be warriors, we got to be real about it. The first battle is the one of us taking our own life. Now, let me throw a twist on birth for y'all.
I deliver babies. I know that's not right.
She mentioned something about it earlier. See, listen, one of the major keys that is used against us is the fact that most of us believe that we didn't ask to be here, which means that it's not my fault I'm in the situation I'm in. When each one of us chose the parents that we chose because they were supposed to give us a certain lesson. When we start taking that responsibility, we empower ourselves. I'm in the situation I'm in right now because I chose it. I chose my daddy. I chose my mama. I chose all the stuff that was going on. As a matter of fact, I had an opportunity to see all this beforehand. Now I want you to think about this. How different is a person's life who take that type of responsibility from? Well, it wasn't my fault I was born. I didn't ask for this. Mama, it's your fault. Listen, that sets us up for victimhood. You can't win. You can't win nothing being a victim. Soon as you become a victim, you start being a loser. All right, I'm sorry. So now, take time, write your story. Now after taking a look and sharing your own story and then taking a step back and changing your view of your story, you have taken a bold step toward controlling your own life. Not somebody else's. Your own. Because some of y'all want to control everybody's life. Settle down. Many of us are caught in a story that's not our own making. We are living ancestral story. Once you take control of your story, you become an author. You control the end of this epic called your life. Authority. Who gonna tell you something? You're the authority. You wrote the damn book. Five, I think. I lost count. How many you wrote? Okay. I gotta catch up. You got to become an authority. And see, because now check this out. Do anybody know what an individual degree?
They ask you, are you published?
This is what's even crazy. You got to write it for them. After you write the book for them, you can't use it. It becomes their property.
Wow.
So you do all this research to empower their system. All I'm saying is we need to start becoming the authorities and start setting up a system where we are writing for ourselves, where we are creating for ourselves. So what your theory is wrong? At least you had time to think about it. And by writing it out, you find the mistakes and you become better at it. All right, so now let's move on. All right, so I got the sheets on here. I'll have me come in here yelling next week. In 2 weeks. All right. As warriors and nation builders, we have to face the fact that no change will happen in the tribe until we first begin to change ourselves and our story. How can we move forward in life if we have not faced our own? More than likely, it's gonna say demons or something. Demons. How can we? Demons. Where you at? Where you? Where that? Where that heathen? Where heathen too, bro?
Wait, who's he?
See, I say demons and he disappeared. You see that? I'm just joking.
No, we're talking about problems.
How can we challenge others to change their stories if we are stuck in our own tales of woe? Because that's really what most people be telling. Tales of woe. Here I present some blogs to help you with understanding the power stories and how to use them. Use it to empower yourself. This is one of the stories. So somebody read the first paragraph. Well, first let me explain. Now I went through a period of haiku. I got a challenge where a sister challenged me to write a certain amount of haiku, and I just got on Twitter. And if anybody know anything about Twitter, you only can express what you have to say in 140 characters. And what's more perfect for that than a haiku? So using Kuji Chagalia, I stole the word haiku and I flipped it and I call it a haiku because it was mine. Hell with the Japanese, it's mine now. I done took it, I owned it. You don't mind taking our stuff, so it's mine now. It's HA2KU. If it's from me, that's what it is, a haiku. All right, so I started. This is Not My Life Part 1, and this is the haiku. Have you ever felt like screaming for all to hear? This is not my life. Somebody read that first paragraph.
The young man sat crying, talking to the old man, ending his statement by saying, I feel like this is not my life. Everything seems to be falling apart. When I joined this tribe, I thought that y'all would help me out. But it seems y'all do nothing but give me proverbs and other bullshit that don't help me or feed my family. The old man had been sitting listening to the young man then for what seemed like hours. And with this last statement, the old man just smiled at the young man. Young man, I have listened to you for a while now. You came into the clubhouse looking like you were carrying the world on your shoulders, and I allowed you to be. I have allowed you to expose your burden to me and have extended my compassionate empathy. But yet you feel that it is more that I and this tribe should do. The young man now wiping the tears from his eyes and taking a sip of his drink appeared to begin to reflect upon his last statement. Big brother, I'm sorry. I spoke out of pure frustration. I felt trapped and overwhelmed by everything. Going on. His drink, lifted it up and took another sip. Before he could collect his thoughts, the elder put his hands on his shoulder in a show of support. Listen, youngster, I have been where you are right now, and believe it or not, the best thing I and your other brothers can do for you now is to give you words of wisdom to help you through these times. This is your time of growth. From this time, you will either become Gye-Nyame or you will be shattered. You will be shattered, us aiding you with material objects would do you nothing. Aiding you with material objects would do nothing but delay the truth.
I like that.
Oh, that's the end. Oh. All right, so that's part 1.
Material.
So what's going on? So now you got the story sheet.
Gina, stop.
Gina, let me say it again. Let me say it again. Don't have me on Facebook. Don't embarrass me on Facebook.
Are you Gina? You Gina?
All right, so now I got another sheet that's coming out because this is a What's Your Story sheet. So now what I want you to do when we start looking at these stories, and even when you watch a movie, I have a sheet that I'm going to give you. I want you to start learning how to break down the story. Somebody tell me what's going on with this story. Huh? Sound like Simba Camp. All right, but where was it? Did anybody remember where it started? Because I said become your author, and I'm about to show you one of the reasons why you need to become your author. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you a story. It's a dude. Not Stokely Carmichael.
Mommy, correct?
No. He was the first one that started going around the country talking about conspiracies. He used to work in Washington, D.C. Steve Coakley. Steve Coakley came here one time.
My big brother.
And he said, a question was asked to him. They said, Steve, what is the future of black people? Steve Coakley looked back and said, how many black futurist writers are there? He was drinking beer when he said that. I said, if he that good when he's drunk, I can't wait to see what. But the point that I'm trying to make is this. The answer he gave was so shocking to me because it wasn't about how many guns you had. It wasn't about how much land you control. It wasn't about how many areas you had locked down. The answer that he gave the individual was, how many black people do we have writing about the future that we want? Becoming an author. So now, I ask a question. Go back in the story. Tell me where the story takes place.
It was,
Is that a trick question?
Huh? No, it ain't a trick question. It's a question that you need to look at the paper that I got in front of you to tell. That's the only trick. The trick is if you ain't got the paper, you ain't gonna know.
And you can't answer that until you write your story.
Where the story take place?
in the tribe.
In the tribe where?
Gye-Nyame land?
It's close. They kind of mentioned it in here.
Heard a story, right?
Yeah. It was a clubhouse, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was like it was a tribe that when he joined this tribe. Like when I joined this tribe, I thought that y'all would help me out. And then he was talking about the club.
So they got a clubhouse.
Right.
So in a sense, when I wrote this, I was kind of projecting on something that I wanted us to have. I'm writing the future. Or at least attempting to write the future. You understand?
Yeah.
See, because it's like this, and you slide things in there subtly. Think about this. How many of y'all's lives have been influenced by little subtle stories? Some stuff that you don't even know. You might get older and be like, wow, that's why I've been doing that all this time. That's what music does to us. That's what movies does to us. Plays, books, all these things tell stories. And until we get in control of that, and until we all become, in a sense, once again, and I'm going to use this word, symbol literate, we always going to be slaves.
Southern elders have the saying, if you don't get it in the wash, you'll get it in the drink. And goes right along with that. Eventually you will understand it, learn it, figure it out.
And the piece I want us to do is, I don't want us getting it in the rinse. Because in the rinse, by that time, it's done. We got to get it early. I need some of your young people right. Right? See, because one of the first, do anybody even know the first story I introduced y'all to that come from the tribe? The first story I introduced y'all to.
Guy.
Yeah, thank you. Somebody. I was about to start sweating. All right. Now, we're going to go back to that story. But not right now. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to look at this story. I want you to go through it. I want you to break it down. I want you to look at what's going on. I want you to see if you can pull anything in there out about yourself. Because the reason I wrote this story is because this story, although it didn't happen in the clubhouse, this story has happened to me over 100 times. And those of you that stay in the movement, it's going to happen to you. And you're going to be on both ends, just like I was on both ends. All right, so we're going to stop right there. Are there any questions, comments? Questions or comments or whatever? Gina?
Oh, somebody else have a question?
Does the story have to be real?
No. See, this is the point. It's a story. Now, the story that I would prefer to be real is your life story. Because I want you to really take a deep look at your life. But when you start writing stories, no, it don't have to be real. Actually, I would encourage you to have pretend stories or make-believe stories because I think you're going to be real good at that.
I already have a few.
Huh?
I already have a few of those.
Did you have your hand up? You got your hand up?
Head up.
Hand. You about to say something? Oh, you said you got a few stories. You raise your hand. All right.
And
Good. Go ahead.
it can come from any source, like just a thought we had, or a dream, or a vision, or
Anything.
a conversation. It can be motivated by anything, right?
Anything.
Okay.
I don't even care if you steal it.
No, I don't have to. I got enough good ones.
No, but some people need something to jumpstart. Like for example, you could be reading the Aesop Fable and it triggers something to go down. Or you could be watching a movie and it triggers something to go down. And also now, here's some more homework. I'm gonna forget by next week. I'm gonna see you're gonna be honest and remind me. I want you to start watching the TV and movies. Listen, as an author. As an author.
Why y'all say, oh?
Because that mean they got to work, man. I just want to watch the damn movie.
What's the difference of watching it as an author?
When you watch it as an author, you're looking for things that you can use for your story. When you watch it as an author, you're looking to see what part affected people. Because understand this, dog. One of the things that I don't really think y'all understand is we broadcast it every week. I don't even advertise a show. We getting 54 hits. I'm trying to tell y'all, we are sitting on the beginning of a multimedia company. Y'all don't even understand it, right? And all we need is content. Whether we talking about blogging, whether we talking about homeboy Dame coming in and teaching us how to do green screen and we create our own stories. We got artists. We got comic book things. Why we can't start our own stuff? And so when you're looking at TV, you're looking to see what works. Because understand this, movies, music, books are all billion-dollar industries. And we don't even have our foot in it. At least not as owners. As consumers we do, but not as owners. How many of y'all remember the movie we saw last week? Or 2 weeks ago? No, we ain't see the Avengers. The Black Wall Street, right? Do anybody remember one of the questions I asked? Why I was writing? Anybody remember the question I asked? Y'all don't remember none of the question? Was you here, Tracy? You ain't. Movie, but the way they made it made me realize that I could do my own documentary.
How they clipped that was your
y'all remember? I mean, because the movie was basically they did Google Hangouts. They clipped them together and charged me $25. The movie, Resurrecting Black Wall Street. And I'm not mad about it, but the point I'm saying is, if they could do that, what's to stop us from doing a documentary about our youth? We all got smartphones. I mean, we got it at one time, just sit in this room right now, we got $1 billion worth of equipment. Although it ain't $1 billion worth of $1 billion right now, but 30 years ago, it'd be like $1 billion worth of equipment sitting up in here. Right now. We got somebody sitting on an old corny iPhone, which is the worst. iPhone's down with iPhone. Down with iPhone. He's sitting on an iPhone and he's on the computer, on the internet. I don't understand why. But the point that I'm saying is, at one point in time, and no other point in history, have we been at this point where we have this much capabilities. The masses can now create content. We never could create content before. Black Panthers had to go and get printing press. They didn't have copy machines. Now we can print up a flyer. He can make a flyer in 5 minutes.
We used that to do silk screen. I mean, that's how far back the Panther Party was.
Right.
We did silk screen.
There you know what silk screen means.
And all that. Design, whatever design you want. There's something called a squeegee. You take the paint and you take the squeegee and spray it across the screen. That transfers one color to the t-shirt. Then you clean that up, get your next paint where you want it to be, and the screen will have the certain holes and the shape and design, and you squeegee the paint in with that. And that's why we did it. It was called silk screen.
I did it in art class.
Oh, you feel me then, right?
Really fun.
It's a heck of a project, but it worked. And that's what we're gonna have to do, because all this technology is gonna run out. Everything finds its end. How are we gonna know how to do anything? I got all this old electronic equipment at home, and I'm glad about this venue because I've been wanting to bring some of this old electrical equipment I have in so the children can pull it all apart, tear it apart, put it back together, see how it works. We're going to need to know that. Because when all this other technology is gone, we're going to have to refer back to the old stuff. And if we don't know how to use it or if we don't throw it all away, we're in trouble. Just like we should learn Morse code. You got to be able to communicate some kind of way. Learn how to play drums and send a message to somebody.
That's true.
Astro project, you know.
So we are once again at the end of the session. If there's no questions or comments, I'm gonna shut off the Hangout. Those that have Google Plus or YouTube, you can find it at Gye-Nyame Journey. Go pass it on to a friend. And with that, we are next Friday, we having a Fish Fry to raise funds for Simba. And we'd like to thank those people that have donated. I don't know if you want,
Oh, I don't mind. I'm
I want to say shout out to Elder Condi. She broke us off to help us get some kids to Simba. So we moving. How much we raised so far? 14,000.
Wow.
And I don't even know how we did that. I hope we ain't selling dope, are we, brother? I just want to
Well, I mean,
hey, that's a lot of money.
You can't sell dope forever.
You can't sell dope forever. Cause I just want, we got it all honestly, right, brother? We got it all honest. Y'all heard that. So I just wanted to make sure, and with that, I want to thank everybody for coming out. I see somebody that stole my hip hop book. My book better.
That was me.
Better get back over here. Non-violent except when it comes to books.
Oh, it is. It's all hot tail.
So we'll be meeting here again in 2 weeks. Adult class.
Sunday.
Yeah, if y'all come next Sunday. Yeah, I've been ready. Somebody, I ain't gonna say no. I ain't saying no name.
I've been out of town.
People know your voice.
What's our book? Adult class.
This is one of those $30 books. You gotta get off fire.
Okay, so I could probably talk to Baba Lula.
I don't know. Would he have it? I never seen him with it, but he could get it.
Okay. I just want to know. I don't want to give my book. I don't want to give my money to no Europeans if I ain't got to. And I don't want to give
your
no
bill was
Afro
like
people.
Who? Go and wipe it off. All right, this is Brother Hot. Tim. Oh, don't make fun of me, grandson. I still could get you. There's no more use telling me though. Don't make me. I got one good slam left. Don't make me use it on you, boy. Look at that. Look at that. Modern technology. Look, I put my head down there. CNN, right? CNN wrong. Look at that, brother. Hot tip.
Oh, you put your
yeah, I got my little third half down there. All right, we out.